What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this.
But just one thing I want to throw out here, and I want to cause a bit of mischief with the US government. I've just been somewhere in the United States where I know there is another portal. And I know the United States knows about it. And I was there just the other day. And guess what? It's got a big fence around it, lots of security signs. It's supposedly US Forest Service. But you know what? It's not. And it's supposedly ancient ruins of tribal art. And you know what? It's not. What's happening is that the United States is using the US Forest Service and claims of the protection of archaeological relics to keep secret from the public a portal on US soil.
All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, y'all. All right, so what's today's video about? Well, we'll get to that in just a second. First, I want to say we hit 100,000 subscribers, y'all. We are over the mark. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. It's a huge accomplishment. It's a team effort. And thank you so much. I do have something very special planned coming up in the next couple weeks to sort of celebrate that. So stay tuned. But I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, let's get to what this video is about. All right. So Ross Coulthart has come out with some interesting news saying that he knows where a portal is and this, that. Let's get into it, right? What do you know about portals? Portals to where? Another dimension, another time, another place? Who knows, right? So we're going to break down Ross's recent viral comments about this portal. And I've actually got some, personal attachment that I'll be able to express myself as we get later in the video. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, but I have some personal experience with portals. Yes, you'll see what I mean. Now, let's get into this viral clip. Let me show it again this time, again with no music, and then we'll go over the very full clip of where these viral comments came from.
But just one thing I want to throw out here, and I want to cause a bit of mischief with the US government. I've just been somewhere in the United States where I know there is another portal. And I know the United States knows about it. And I was there just the other day. And guess what? It's got a big fence around it, lots of security signs. It's supposedly US Forest Service. But you know what? It's not. And it's supposedly ancient ruins of tribal art. And you know what? It's not. What's happening is that the United States is using the US Forest Service and claims of the protection of archaeological relics to keep secret from the public a portal on US soil.
All right, so basically we have Ross here talking about a portal, sort of ancient ruins. The National Forest Service is sort of, covering this up, this portal, right? And, he's been there, right? Now, we're going to get into it later in this video of where potentially this is, right, in the United States. And again, that's where my personal attachment comes into this. So you'll see what I mean. But let's go to the larger clip and give a little more context of exactly why Ross started talking about this. You see, he does this Q&A on News Nation, right? And he was asked a question about these guys right here you see on the screen, because he just released a video of those two guys who allegedly found some alien skeletons 400 years old buried underneath a church in Mexico. I'm going to put a link down in the description to that video if you want to learn more about it, but that's not what this is about. But it was during that question where he revealed this portal that he has recently been to. Now, let's take a look at the longer clip and get a little more context of exactly, where this all came from, this portal talk. But before we do that, y'all, I have to keep the mics on, okay? So let me introduce the sponsor for today's video. A guy just won $1 million by creating an AI film using VO3 on the stage of the 1 Billion Followers Summit, hosted by the UAE government. A 19-year-old girl runs an AI automated agency and earns $100,000 a month. And the most recent report from Forbes shows that employees who use AI at work are earning 40% more than those who don't. The AI employment paradox is alive, and February matters because the early adoptive phase is over. So the question is simple: will you watch this shift or win from it? Introducing Outskill, the first ever AI-focused educational platform to accelerate AI learning for people like you and me. They're hosting the 2-day AI Mastermind training live this Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern on both days. And right now is the perfect moment to join because you can get in absolutely free for the next 48 hours. This 16 hours AI training has already built 10 million plus AI first professionals worldwide and is rated 4.9 out of 5 on Trustpilot. People from marketing, finance, operations, product, and engineering. Join this just because this is not specific to any one industry, but is now needed across every one of them. This is where you learn how to build AI agents that plan, write, execute, and report for you, automate workflows that run even while you sleep, connect tools like Sheets, Notion, CRMs, and email to create profitable systems. Use AI to save hours every week and get an unfair advantage at work. Not just that, you'll learn how to profit from these skills. People from this very training have launched AI-powered services that bring in 3 to 4K weekly by just applying the systems they're taught. To kickstart your year, you'll also get premium lifetime bonuses like the AI Prompt Bible, the AI Profit Roadmap, your personalized AI Toolkit Builder, only if you attend both days. And here's the most interesting part. When you sign up, you'll get access to the 2026 AI Survival Hackbook, a comprehensive compilation of the upcoming AI shifts in 2026 and the practical steps you can take to be prepared. Seats are limited. Use the link in the description to join. And join the WhatsApp community to stay updated before the big blast. All right, now, roll the clip.
We do have 2 viewer questions from your interview with Chad Robichaud and TW Mock. I will start with this first one. It is from Cosmic Road on X. TW Mock hinted at ongoing paranormal and possibly ET activity around the church in Mexico. Can you give us any more information on that?
I can, not a lot. What he described was a feeling of fogginess, some kind of mental intrusion on him and his team. He said that it was almost like a hitchhiker effect. It followed him home. He got medical treatment and it eventually went away. But of course, the most frightening thing is what he was briefed, allegedly, by a woman from JPL. I mean, understand the significance of this. Again, NASA is an American government agency. In fact, it's been recently recognized as an American government intelligence agency. It was deemed such by President Trump. Why? Is it because of what we now know, that JPL, which is part of NASA, was involved in briefing Mr. Mock about his exposure to a portal? Now, I do believe that Mr. Mock and his team were potentially exposed to something anomalous, because it's interesting. Looking at the local history, there's an article from Popular Science that was published in 2023. It referred to how there was a concern historically, right back in the 1600s when this site was first discovered. There was a feeling that there was some unusual activity in and around the site. I don't know any more than that, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward one day, hopefully, to going down to Mexico and having a look at it. I'm wary because, of course, we know from Skinwalker Ranch that sometimes the phenomenon can follow you home. But just one thing I want to throw out here, and I want to cause a bit of mischief with the US government. I've just been somewhere in the United States where I know there is another portal. And I know the United States knows about it.
Now, I know what you're all thinking. Where is this portal? Okay, now that we have more context, okay? Where is this portal that Ross is talking about? All right. Now, this isn't the first time that Ross has talked about a portal before. Take a look at this clip from an old Jesse Michaels interview that he did.
There's allegedly a portal in the Bradshaw Ranch that was seen by the former owner of the ranch, Linda Bradshaw, and she actually took photographs of it. And it opened up in a particular area of the ground around that ranch, which just so happens to be the area that's fenced off. And we noticed that there is a tower in the middle of that area. This is supposedly a deserted ranch. There's nobody there, there's no electrical power, and there's solar panels on this post that has a camera. Now, if you're protecting the security of what is supposedly an academic research institution, you have the camera pointed out so that you can see people coming from the outside. But you know where the camera's pointing? It's pointing exactly at the point where Linda Bradshaw says she saw the portal.
So he's talking about Bradshaw Ranch. Stay with me. Let's put a pin in that. Now, first, I want to give a huge shout out to Astral on Twitter. Okay, I'm going to put a link down below to his account because he is the one that shared that viral video of Ross talking about the portal and a couple of other clips that I'm sharing in today's video. The one you just saw, and I have another one coming up about George Knapp also talking about portals. But before we get to that clip with George Knapp, let's break down this clip of Ross talking about Bradshaw Ranch, because that is where people are saying this portal is at. Bradshaw Ranch. Now, what's my personal connection that I've been talking about? Well, it's the Bradshaw Ranch. You see, this past summer, I made a documentary that is coming out later this year about psionics. And I actually went to Sedona, Arizona, and just outside of Sedona, Arizona is Bradshaw Ranch. And I actually went and filmed there for my documentary. It's called Psionics. I'm going to put a link down below so you can see the trailer. It's out now. And there's actually a couple spots in the trailer showing, Bradshaw Ranch, because I went and filmed there for a while. Spent a whole evening there, whole afternoon and evening there. And it takes a long time to get out there. It's a crazy road system to get out there. It is just on Google Maps. You can Google map it and get to Bradshaw Ranch. Now, not everyone can get to every part of Bradshaw Ranch, but you can explore it. It's an old ranch. It was the story behind it is essentially a stuntman from Hollywood sort of purchased it, and they did film some movies there, or parts of movies there at Bradshaw Ranch, but it's kind of all run down now and abandoned buildings and that sort of thing. And a lot of people go there to experience different things, phenomena, right? Which is why I went there and filmed. And while I was filming there, and a lot of this stuff doesn't even end up in the documentary, I was told about portals there while I was there. In fact, I even stepped, the guy that took us there told us about a portal, right, that we could potentially open up while we were there. And they had this rock on the ground. They were like, okay, step on this rock. What do you feel? Do you feel anything? I stepped on this rock. I stood there. I didn't feel anything. And a few other people stepped there. Nothing happened. We kind of moved on from it because we were there to really skywatch and, do psionics, right? Mentally connect with ET up in the sky. And we did see some interesting things there. And the guy that took us there, his name was Benjamin. And Benjamin, I guess there is a part in the documentary we do include where he tells us about his ability to open up portals there and that the government is after him, right? Going there. And there was even a portion where he was talking about some stuff that he made me turn the camera off, that I couldn't record. And it was all off the record and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to get into it. Don't want to break his trust. And he kept talking and being off the record. Like he just kept saying stuff. You can't film this. You can't. And Gino from Y-Files was with me and we were both just like, okay, then stop talking about this. Let's get to the part where you can talk on camera. Right. So he did bring up a lot of portal stuff there. And I actually interviewed a guy named Tom who essentially wrote the book on Bradshaw Ranch that everyone talked about. He was an older guy. He was going to go out there with us to Bradshaw Ranch, but, he was a little old. It's a rough ride out there, and it's a rough sort of, you got to hike and stuff. So he just wasn't physically really down to go, and I get it. But he did come over to my Airbnb while I was in Sedona, and he sat down for about an hour-long interview, to be honest with you. And honestly, it doesn't make it into the documentary. We actually shot a lot of interviews, and not everything makes it into this thing because I shot more than just Bradshaw Ranch and more than just what I shot in Sedona. But he did talk about a portal in this interview, and I'm going to release the interview later this week, the full interview, so you can get all of it about Bradshaw Ranch. And allegedly, the lore is that Bradshaw Ranch has more phenomena happening there than Skinwalker Ranch, right? That's what everyone says in Sedona. And that's what we were told as well. And Tom talked about a portal, and the same portal potentially that Ross is talking about, right? With the owner of Bradshaw Ranch, right? That woman. Well, allegedly, they also saw, this was probably one of the craziest things I heard while filming the documentary. Allegedly, they saw a dinosaur come out of this portal as well. So I'll be honest, my BS meter goes completely off the charts when I'm hearing about portals and this and that. And then again, you hear about a dinosaur coming through. What, a dinosaur? What? I mean, what is happening? I guess I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying, I don't know. I didn't see any evidence at Bradshaw Ranch of any portals opening up, nor did I see any evidence of dinosaurs roaming around. And I don't know, but there is a lot of lore, and there is a lot that people talk about that particular place, Bradshaw Ranch. And again, we did experience some interesting things there. While we were there filming, the guy that took us there, Benjamin, allegedly, while we were there filming, aliens showed up, that they were invisible and only he could see them. And he was communicating with them. And I don't know, right? He just kept saying their presence is here. They're here. The little guys, they're like children. But nobody else saw them or felt them or anything. It was just him. And he was a nice guy. He was very interesting for sure. And he's in the documentary for sure. But I don't know, right? That's one of those things where you're going to have to kind of experience it for yourself. And I don't want to say wait till the documentary, but I can't just explain the whole documentary. I mean, my experience at Bradshaw Ranch is in there, but not all of it. So I will be able to explain a lot more as we go through, the next few months, I guess, if it comes up. But I am going to release that interview with Tom about Bradshaw Ranch, which is very interesting. Again, people say it's, has more phenomena going on there than Skinwalker Ranch. So I don't know, if you have any experience with Bradshaw Ranch, let me know down in the comments. Again, Benjamin, who took us there, was super nice. And I went with Ron James. I went with this woman named Zenka, all super sweet. Gino from the Y-Files and myself. We had a great time. Okay. And we did see some interesting things and experience some interesting things and got told a lot of interesting things about this place. But that is sort of the lore behind it. There is this portal that essentially has opened up there that people have seen, the owner. And Tom, again, talks about a dinosaur coming through this portal as well. So I just think context is important. And, I don't know. But look, the truth is, Ross isn't the only one out there talking about portals, and a lot of people do. And again, even George Knapp has talked about portals. Now, not at Bradshaw Ranch, but it's Skinwalker Ranch.
One night, one of the most dramatic things that happened, there are two of the scientists. These are PhD level people. They walk around the middle homestead, and two guys are up on Skinwalker Ridge looking down. They've got infrared equipment watching. And one of them with the infrareds sees what looks like a dirty snowball of light just hovering a couple of feet off the ground. And he walkie-talkies these guys down there. Hey, do you see it? Yeah, we see it. It's kind of vague. Then he says, hey, something's happening. It's changing.
Our guys are on a ridge line looking down, and you see a light appear above the ground, expand.
This ball of light was stretching out. It became a tunnel of light. Into this tunnel comes a humanoid figure.
Some kind of monster reach up, pull his shoulders, and come out.
7 or 8 feet tall, black, featureless. When it gets out, the tunnel collapses into a ball again. It was almost as if it was a dimensional tunnel, but it was coming from some other reality.
So look, I don't know, right? These are very interesting stories and very, just, you know, I don't know. They are interesting, right? Especially when you start to imagine it. It sounds fantastical and like, oh shit, okay, that's interesting. And there are credible people that talk about it, right? So I don't know, right? You got Skinwalker Ranch and you got Bradshaw Ranch. And again, I am going to release that interview with Tom. His name is Tom Dongo. And he did write this book, what I was told was the quintessential book on Bradshaw Ranch, with Linda Bradshaw. Okay. The book is called Merging Dimensions, The Opening Portals of Sedona. All right. And it allegedly has all these photos in it as well of, you know, evidence of this. And coincidentally, Tom Dongo did an interview with Ross Coulthart back in May of 2025, which really was that got released in May of 2025, at the end of May 2025. So that was really about a month and a half later, I'm filming with Tom. So that all kind of came out at the same time, which is kind of interesting. But, you know, again, if you have any personal experience with Bradshaw Ranch, let me know down in the comments. Be curious to hear other people's experiences. But again, something Tom did tell me in my interview is that there was a dinosaur that came. I just never heard that before. A dinosaur? What? I mean, what the? You know, it's like Jurassic Park out here. So I don't know. Kind of interesting. And they've had some of the most interesting experiences there for sure. Now, is this the place that Ross is talking about in his new viral clip? I don't know. Other people saying it's another place, but it could be Bradshaw Ranch. And when I was there, I didn't go to the whole thing. It's a big place. It is fenced in. We did have to kind of hop over the fence, if you will, to get in. But there are other parts, and, you know, are there ancient ruins there? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Sedona, so that is possible. Is there this cover up of this portal? I don't know, right? A lot of portal talk. It is interesting, but I've personally seen no compelling evidence. And again, when I was there, I was told to stand on a rock and you would feel the energy of a portal in a dimension. And this guy, Ben, that I filmed with, says he can open portals there and that he's being chased by the government about it. So is this what Ross is leaning into? I honestly don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Ross will come out with more information about that, right? Essentially. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you guys on the next one. Remember that as every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
Patrick, I'd like to know your thoughts on the 2027 potential UFO that's coming. Could it at all be reverse engineered and they come down to zap a few of us and get rid of us as part of some type of alliance so that everyone can blame aliens and not blame those who have had this plan in mind? Just a thought.